The battle is over. A horrible, cataclysmic battle. Most deaths and casualties of any battle in the entire Civil War. What do we make of it? What meaning do we give to the Battle of Gettysburg? For so long, scholars and the public have made this the epic battle of the entire war. They have called it the turning point. It has been called the high water mark of the Confederacy. And the implication of that is that people have thought that this battle meant that from here on in, the Confederacy was going to lose. Within the last 10 years or so, scholars have actually started to reevaluate that. Militarily, it's an important battle, mainly because of all the political issues that Lincoln was facing at that time, and he had a victory-starved North that needed some kind of victory. We also must remember that it took another 19 more months before the war was over. And in 1864, some of the most horrific casualties would be suffered by the Union Army. So the battle was important, it was necessary, it turned some of the tide for Union morale, but the South still could win. There was still an unfinished business ahead. However, Gettysburg comes down to us, more importantly, perhaps, as giving President Lincoln a place to issue one of the most famous speeches in American history. One of the big problems right after the battle was, what do you do about all the dead people? First, you got to bury them. And the people at Gettysburg, Governor Curtin, and others rallied and tried to create a national cemetery at Gettysburg. In November, they invite Lincoln to come and be part of the dedication of that cemetery. He wasn't the featured speaker. The main speaker was Edward Everett, the major orator of the country at the time, and he gave a rousing 2-hour speech. Lincoln stood up after Everett, and then 270-some words made history. What Lincoln was doing with that speech was trying to appear to rise above partisanship while actually being partisan. And he was also trying to answer in a second way that question, what do we do about all the dead people? First and foremost, Lincoln, in his opening lines, refers to the Declaration of Independence, the fact that the country is committed to the standard that all men are created equal. Why does he say that? He can't use the word slavery. He's not going to use the word emancipation. Those are really hot political issues. So he commits to the Declaration. He uses those words. All men are created equal. But Democrats listening to that, they understood what that really meant. He goes on and tries to say that what the country should remember, what we should do about these dead people is honor them. We don't want to stop the war. We don't want to have peace. We have to honor these dead. We cannot let them die in vain. We must keep this war going. So he's playing the big themes. He's talking to high ideals, and yet he's still trying to make sure he is furthering the agenda he needs to keep this war going. He ends with some of the most famous words in American history, of course, that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. This was highly in line with his beliefs that the Civil War was the test of constitutional government, that if we lose this war, it tarnishes democracy. Lincoln knows that the United States is the only democracy in the world at that time. Lincoln felt that if the war would be lost, so would democracy.